you can't handle the heat.
Booyaka Show, welcome back to the episode of Can't Handle the Heat. It's your boy G Swibs, joined by Local Joe. We got No Show Micah. Don't worry, he'll be popping up later in the podcast.
Shout out Micah.
Shout out Micah, No Show Micah. And of course, the loudmouth, the legend himself, the man under the mask, the man in the chair with the latest and greatest in the volleyball news. We got Shado with Shado News. Let's get it, Shado. Let's get after it, buddy.
What up, boys? How are we?
Fired up, brother.
Solid week. It's nice that one of my early predictions and hot takes was already busted. Shout out Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander. They have, ever since I made that take, they have looked like the best team on tour, and they're playing great. So
It's the Shano curse.
Some voodoo. Some
yeah,
Shano
it's the
voodoo.
curse. It's the curse. Hey, that's a bad call by me. I'll give that credit. Well, going right into that. All right, we'll go into the results for the AVP this last weekend. First off, congratulations to Casey Patterson. He's called it a career. He had quite the career. He won 23 overall tournaments, 18 AVP tournaments, 2 pro FIVB tournaments, and was an Olympian as well. He won tournaments with a bunch of different partners. Let me see if I can pull up those partners for you here. Just give me one quick second, everyone. Sorry, I'm not getting paid very much, so it takes time.
We're getting slow Wi-Fi.
Yeah. He's won with Jake Gibb, Ty Loomis, Chase Buttinger, and once with Phil Dahlhauser. So he's won with 4 different partners on the AVP tour. Pretty impressive career for him. 42 years old, $415,470 career winnings. Thanks to BVB Network for that information. Or BVB Info, sorry.
PVB
All right.
info, shout out.
Boom. Shout out them. All right. So AVP this weekend. It was indoors. It was in the Suns Arena. It actually looked like it generated a decent crowd. I mean,
It did. It looked cool.
It looked really cool. And from what I heard from some of the player buzz is that they really enjoyed it. It was like a cool kind of like there was good energy, good atmosphere. The night matches were really cool. They played like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. the first night. Thought that was really smart. And I thought it was really, really smart. And I thought it was really cool to see like that on that in the Sun Stadium, it was like jumper sand, right? So the 2 teams that made it the furthest, Partain and Lotman, Sander, Crabb, those are 2 teams that go on 2 and jump a ton and play really good volleyball. So it was really impressive watching them do what they did. I don't know if you saw also, but another little news point of the week is Volleyball Magazine put out their awards for the season.
Volleyball Mag? I didn't even know they had awards.
Yeah.
Is this for NCAA?
This is for the AVP. It's the men's awards. This is the men's version. Shout out Travis Mewwerder. He has his own podcast, Sandcast. That's a solid podcast.
Yeah,
I've
super
watched
solid.
a couple of their episodes.
Shout out.
So the MVP of the AVP this year, according to Volleyball Magazine, Miles Partain. What do you guys have to say about that? Do you think he was the MVP?
To me, MVP awards have to go to the team that won the most, I'll be honest. Because that, to me, shows... But at the same time, if you look at his statistics, because MVP awards, typically they do go statistic route. But I'm someone who believes it needs to go to the team who wins the most.
I don't know about that.
Which at the end of the day is Trevor and Try. And yeah, people are debate that. Micah and I have debated this too at the same time.
What about?
And like you put a really good player on the top team, even LeBron, you put him on crappy teams and he wins a crap ton and he wins and he deserves MVP awards because like the teams he gets to the finals, he wins finals with teams that should not be there. And so like for that like that holds up in my view. But
are you saying that LeBron
Miles,
does?
like if you look at his statistics were crazy, but Trevor and Try were just so dominant for a majority of the season. I think it's difficult to not give them one of the MVPs from my perspective.
I agree with that sentiment 100%. I just think the reason they gave it to Miles, in my personal opinion, is because of his age. 1, he's the youngest player out there by multiple years, I think. 2, he was so consistent all year. Like his finishes were the most consistent. Try and Trevor had a 9th and a 7th. I don't think Partain had a 7th ever the whole year. But Try and Trevor won 3 tournaments. So by that, I mean, and I think Try's the best player on the beach right now. I think he's the best player overall in America. I think Miles has the potential to be the best player very soon. My bold take, I got a hot take. Next year, Miles will win 3 or more tournaments.
With Lobman?
I don't know.
Dude, they just need
I've
to put
heard,
him and Benish together.
Uh,
He and Benish need that.
I've
They just need
heard
to make
some.
that happen.
I've heard some rumors about that. I don't. I
So you want
haven't
to share
heard
those
anything-
rumors, Shayna?
I haven't heard anything finite yet, but I know that. I think I saw somewhere that maybe they're signed up for an FIVB tournament. I don't know which one.
CBVA. I was like,
No,
I know
no,
Benish
no,
and
no,
Benish
No.
and Miles Evans are in
are
pairs
playing
right
in
now.
one right now. But I know that they've been trained. I bike by a lot in the morning. I go bike
Ooh.
in the morning, work out,
Stalker.
and I'll bike by, and I've seen them train together before recently.
That's like to hear. Shayna,
Yeah.
our man on the ground. Look at that man. He's
Yeah.
he's the Nightcrawler.
Well,
I like
I
what you're doing out there.
I mean, it's not really to
Our
watch
spy.
them. It's not really. I don't really bike to watch them. It's kind
Right,
of more of a
of course.
fitness thing,
Right,
you
Shayna.
know. But
Isn't
you know,
that hilarious though? In the South Bay, that's how you find like you don't know
Dude.
about anything and you find out like news
Everything
that oh
right
now
away,
these two might be
before-
playing in
no.
the future.
No, you
Just
find
by
out
biking
news
down the
before it
strand.
breaks. Like literally, Logan Weber and Evan Corey getting back together like 3 weeks before they signed up for a tournament together. Like bunch of people bike by, saw them practicing together, and they're like, "Well, that news is now no longer a surprise." So
Yeah.
you know, it's just you can't really keep secrets in the South Bay. It's just tough. It's a small town, as you guys know. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. The honorable mentions for MVP were Triborn, Trevor Crabb, and Phil. Which Phil, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, he was really dominant, but like, he's 42 and he didn't play in a lot of tournaments this year. He shouldn't even be on the list. I think that's just a respect thing.
Legend.
He's an absolute legend. Absolute legend. The best defensive player was also given to Miles, and they said their logic for this was it's been a 2-man race between Partain and Crabb for the last 2 years as far as pure defensive volleyball. But this year, Partain averaged more than 4 digs per set, and he hit at a higher percentage than Taylor. So I think that's why they gave it to Taylor, or that's why they gave it to Miles. But I mean, I'd say that's probably fair, but I still think Taylor's the better player. I think the healthy Taylor Crabb is our best defender. Did you guys agree with
I didn't
that?
know we're giving the best defensive award to the highest hitting percentage. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he
I was
also
joking.
he also was top 5 in
We
total
don't-
digs of every
So the
single
best
tournament.
defender. Then it's like he has the highest hitting percentage listed. I'm like,
No,
Wow,
he had
he's
a-
a defender. I'd love to hear
that. I'd love to hear that defender.
No, Joe, that's not what I said. I said his defensive stats are similar to Taylor's, and he had a much higher hitting percentage. That's their logic. And
I
his
get you, I
average,
get you.
he was
Conversion.
he was top 5 in every single tournament in digs, every single one. So that I guess that's makes sense. I'd still say Taylor beat Miles in a lot of big matches this year. At Manhattan, he beat him, and in the championship, in the finals, he beat him. So for me, maybe I give that to Taylor Crabb. I don't know about you guys. That's just my opinion. Best blocker they gave to Theo Brunner, which I think is deserved. He had a really
Yes.
good year. He had a really good year.
Dude,
And-
there was that match. He was just clamping Taylor.
well,
Crap.
they beat him 21-6 or 7. It was an absolute
Jesus.
beatdown.
My God.
And then last award for the men's side, most improved Andy Benish, which
Andy
again
Benish.
he
Started
won a
well.
tournament. He won a tournament this
sense.
year. He took a couple thirds, took a lot of fifths. He's definitely got he's as they're saying, he's a dark horse contender to get to the 2024 Olympics. I think the only way he gets to the 2024 Olympics is with Miles Partain.
Yeah.
And I
Dude,
think
Miles
the
could have
only
gotten
way-
that award too.
Yeah, I guess he could have, but Miles has been like he's been kind of a featured player now for a couple years. I think Andy, like last year and this year, he's really come into that mix. You know, he's really made the next step. Because before that, he was kind of a qualifier guy. Miles has been in the main draw for a couple years now at this point. So I understand where they're coming from with that one.
Yeah.
All right, rookie of the year, Taylor Sander. That's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy. Speaking of which, how fast he's gotten as good as he's gotten is ridiculous. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how good he's gotten so quick. All right, off men's topic, onto the women's AVP tournament. Shout out Joey for getting the both predictions, getting the women's prediction right. Taryn
No.
Cloth and Kristen Nuss. Or was that
Did I?
wrong?
You did. No, he did. He did.
The
He like I quote, I really like the LSU girls.
yeah, I did. I got the men's right too.
Yeah,
You
you
got
went 2
both.
for 2. He was the only guy.
He's our winner.
Gage, you went 0 for 2. Congratulations.
I was close though. I went the dark horse with Lotman and Partain. I was close.
I mean, they finished like top 5 in every tournament all year. It's not like a dark horse pick, but I appreciate you being close. Micah was the furthest away with
Shocker.
he picked his girlfriend, so you got to respect that.
Gotta stay loyal, brother. Shout out to his loyalty.
Yeah, but women's results, Cloth and Nuss won it. Who took second? Was it?
They beat in the finals. It was.
It wasn't Hughes.
Clays?
They lost. Clays. No, Clays and Moon.
Sorry, not
no.
Clays. Not
No,
Clays.
not Clays.
It's not her. That's not her name, anyways. It's Chang.
Chang. Yeah, sorry, forgot about the Chang. The women's second place. You're right. It was Flint and Chang. Joe, you were right. It's Flint and Chang. They got second. Kalinsky and Sarah Hughes took third. Sponsel and Cannon took fourth. Scholes and Zana took fifth. And
Top 5.
Julia Scholes and Gina took sixth. They had a tough tournament, but they had a great year, those two. And let me see if I can pull up the women's awards here so we can quickly go through that as well. Got to give them respect. Title IX, respect. I'm a feminist. I respect everyone. I respect
Equality,
everyone.
Shayna, is that what we're seeing here?
We're all about love here at the Strokey House. That's what we're all about.
What does that stand for? ELE. What does that stand for?
I have no idea.
Everybody love everybody.
Everybody. That's Hawaiian. That's got to be Hawaiian.
No, it's
Gotta
Jackie
be
Moon.
Hawaiian. Oh,
Jackie
that's
Moon.
even better.
Even better.
That's even better. All right.
Corn dogs, Jackie.
Women's AVP MVP, Kelly Chang. Okay. Best
Not
offensive
stoked.
player.
It was not stoked.
She was
enough.
like, whatever.
Best
Whatever, dude.
offensive player, also Kelly Chang. Best defensive player, Sarah Sponsel. Best blocker, Brandy Wilkerson. Most improved, Therese Cannon. That's a good pick, actually. Therese had a good year.
Shout out Rochester.
Yeah. Rochester. Oh, Wickens, right? Isn't that where Spencer Wickens is from?
We lived there for
We
9
there,
years.
bro. We played with Wickens when
We
were
lived there
younger.
for 9 years. People don't know that.
That's crazy.
Rochester, New York, baby.
Rochester boys.
Rochester.
Most underrated, Betsy Flint. And Rookie of the Year, Julia Scholes. And honorable mention for Rookie of the Year was Haley Harward, which I also think would have been a solid pick.
Shout out Julia Scholes.
Most
Go Bows.
underrated is like superlatives in high school. Like best smile, best.
Yeah,
couple,
exactly.
class-
I agree.
class
That is.
couple.
Most underrated according to who?
Well, I mean, it's just basically.
correctly
like
made it
you know
there.
what the most underrated award is? It's just like, oh, my partner's better than me, so I'm underrated. Like Trevor Krab's underrated.
Do you want to win that?
Paul Lotman's underrated. Like
Yeah, no,
So
I
when
get
your
that
that.
an
partner's a
award
little better
wanna
than you.
win or no?
I don't
yeah. I mean, why not? It's an award, and look, if you're most underrated, that like Christian Sorum is probably the most underrated
The most
player.
underrated.
Absolutely not. He
He
is
still
definitely
is underrated for sure for
He
what
is.
he does.
Dude,
People-
he's like the best in my opinion. He's one of the best defenders ever.
He is
already. Already.
of all time.
Yeah.
the goat.
I thought you were talking about right now. I'm like, he is the best defender.
No,
right now
I'm
in the
saying
world.
already he's on his way to being like the best maybe ever, or one of the best ever, behind like Karch.
he picks up another 1 or 2 gold medals in the Olympics.
If he picks up two more, if he wins 3 gold medals, then that'll equal what I'm pretty sure Karch won 2 golds in indoor and 1 in beach. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you got to give Karch only 1 technically for if you're just talking about beach defenders. You can
Well,
only count
yeah.
the beach medals.
but
Yeah,
I mean,
how many AVPs
Karch-
has Christian Sorum won, bro?
he's played in one.
That's a good
He
point.
played in
How'd he
one.
do? How'd he do?
They didn't do super well.
They just not.
played-
It
I
was-
don't-
Yeah,
They
no,
didn't
it was in
convert well.
Hawaii. It was an AVP
We were there.
FIVB. Yeah. It was
Oh, yeah. We cooked him dinner.
Yeah, we cooked
Yeah.
them dinner. We cooked them burgers
In
on
our
our George
apartment.
Foreman.
that's
they were
all.
god
Little
awful.
George Foreman.
They loved him.
Yeah, in our like.
Well, it's
1.5
Norway. There's
year
no way they
apartment.
got good burgers in Norway. Are you kidding me?
Dude,
Norway
give me
don't-
some, man. It's pretty fresh over there. They're like,
It
yeah.
looks pretty cool.
That was the key
It
to their
looks
gold
pretty
medal.
cool.
Exactly.
Well,
These
no,
burgers.
it's all their It's all the development. Like, dude, they're even at the youth, like at the under 19 Beach World Championships this year. I'm pretty sure 2 Latvian teams finished first and second on the men's side. Their ones team finished first, and their twos finished second. Like,
Latvia on the rise.
Europe's on a whole new level.
It's
I
ridiculous.
was watching European
beach,
beach
man. Beach,
teams in the European Championships here in Munich, which is unreal setup. Big shout out to
Yeah.
CVV on that. It's just a whole nother level right now. The European teams are
how was the
Pretty gnarly.
attendance to that, by the way, Joe?
packed.
Was it good?
Sexy.
Really?
In Europe,
Dude,
they
Germany.
pack beach
Okay,
events.
that's not in Italy this year for the World Championships. It was terrible. Terrible.
Interesting.
But
Like,
Terrible.
Germany, Netherlands.
and I'm pretty sure in the last Worlds, the last Worlds that I watched that was in Germany, it was like sold out for like a
Yeah,
lot of games.
Hamburg.
It was
It
big.
was right
Yeah,
here.
Hamburg. Yeah,
I played in
Hamburg.
that arena.
I mean, Joe, do you remember when Joe went to the King of the Beach? You remember that shit?
King of the court.
Yeah.
Court.
Oh yeah,
I
I
practiced
do.
one time.
Jesus, they were like, let's do some of the best players in the world on the
Yeah, I was.
on the
Dude,
sand.
You like?
We're gonna
didn't
pick
you,
up
like
the
make it
grass
past,
goat
like, the
Joe
first
Word
I made
round
a
about
final.
there.
I made final one of the rounds. It was ridiculous. We were like,
That's so awesome.
we beat some teams that are like year round. Like we didn't
probably
practice one
beat
time.
Yeah, you probably beat some like
Some
pretty
Olympians.
legit teams. Yeah, some Olympians.
Nah,
Olympians.
I don't remember which teams we beat, but we beat some decent.
You were playing the
teams.
Polish guys too.
Yeah, we pulled the top Polish team. The
Burl or
Guto.
whatever.
We played Guto and with the Brazilian duo. What's the Guto
Simone
name?
and Guto,
Yeah.
or Alvaro Guto. I
I
don't
don't remember.
Oh, Jiba.
No, not Chiba.
Oh,
know. No, not Chiba. On to the next topic. We have a new women's volleyball league that is making headlines. It is called
Inform us.
League-
making
you know?
splashes.
Inform us.
It's
throughout the
called-
land.
It is called League One Volleyball. It is
League
back. It is backed by Kevin Durant, Billie
AD,
Jean
Easy Money
King,
Sniper.
Who's Billie Jean King?
the tennis player.
Thank you.
Remember the movie that was like the.
Title 9.
Apologies, everyone.
Dry
Dry mouth.
tight.
Dry
That's another-
mouth.
That's another.
It's not
that's,
going
that's
well.
a fine. That's a fine for Shano.
Oh shit.
You got-
Happened. But yeah, it's backed by Kevin Durant.
Shano.
Fine.
Shano.
Another fine.
Shano.
I'm back. I'm
Say
back.
what the bad.
I'm back. My bad, guys. Fuck.
We're losing
Um,
Shano.
I might die. Who knows?
But
But
be your last breath. Make it
hey,
work.
last, watch someone die on YouTube. Let's go.
That make for a great title of video. And can I use your face as a thumbnail? You're coughing.
No, please don't.
We're not gonna do that.
I'm kidding.
We're not doing that.
All right, hold on. Reset. I'm calling a timeout. I used to.
Need some water. Need some water. Need some water.
Oh my god.
This is our first. Hey boys, this is our first shit show. This is our first complete shit
That's
show.
how we operate, baby. From right at home. Shano, you good, man?
I don't know where this came from. I was completely fine 20 minutes ago.
Oh my god. They don't want you to tell a story. They're poisoning you, Shano.
I know. I think it's just telling me to like prepare more for this. It's God's punishment. Shout out Jesus. I am Christian.
Amen.
Amen. But yeah, so this new pro women's league, it's also backed by David Blitzer and Chelsea Handler. So they have some big names that are
Chelsea Handler.
financially backing this thing, and it's a new upstart U.S. volleyball league. Its aim is to grow the sport from the youth players to the pros. They have, from what I've heard, they've bought out, and they've partnered with a ton of women's club teams in the South Bay area, Southern California area.
Who might I presume?
So SCVC, Mizuno,
Rockstar.
Rockstar. Yeah, no, I know those two for sure. I'm not quite sure about Balboa, and I'm not quite sure about the other women's teams in that area. Dude, it's so bad. You're gonna have to edit. Like,
I know you barely held it on there.
dude, I was holding on. I'm holding on, boys. I'm trying.
Belmore and
I'm trying.
So I'll step in here. I'll give Shano a break on that.
Yeah, give me a break, please.
Get really quickly what's the exact number that they got on their initial seed investment here?
$16.75 million.
We're gonna talk about that. And the format basically what they are League One is gonna be doing is they bought out all these clubs and they're designing. If anybody's familiar with the European systems and the European clubs, they have a developmental system. So you have young kids teams, a group of them, all the way up to like senior teams, like above the professional teams, and they go and they kind of make progress through the club, and so you develop them throughout the club, throughout their years until they get to the professional team. And so they're trying to build a similar system using League One, and as we talked about it, 16 million isn't even close to probably enough to be able to put together a league like this. You know, the next question you have, it's always facilities. For leagues like this, you got to talk about facilities. Where are they trained? I'm going to assume at the clubs, but where are they competing at and all this? And I'm sure that's built into the plan, and it just hasn't come out into the public. And we need to kind of.
I mean,
find
I
out
will
more about
say,
this
like,
forward.
this league does have some pretty big names backing it, which is like
huge.
You haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
What do they need?
Like volleyball names too, not
They
just
need more money?
Yeah,
like
no,
a
yeah.
lot of big volleyball names are involved.
I'm
in this.
sure they need more money. I'm
For
sure
sure.
they also just. I mean, they plan to start it by 2020. God dang it! They plan to start it by 2024.
24.
Yeah.
We were speaking to somebody who works with athletes, like a lot of big time NFL athletes, NBA athletes, and he's even getting involved with this league and the people and the higher ups involved in the development of this league. And he's saying like there's a lot of big names, big money coming in to make this thing work. And it's mainly focused on the women's side at this point. Maybe it's always going to be focused on the women's side. Who knows?
I mean, there's not a single mention of men's or boys in either
No.
article I read on it. So no.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, in order for something with a men's league, that'll come down years down the road. I mean, there's nothing anywhere close to being, I think, like formidable to this level. I mean, you're talking about like the type of investments they're looking at right now and asking for is significant. So it's difficult for, I think, them to put together any type of package where there's any type of men's league. And I don't even know if that's in their vision down the road. But the sport of volleyball for sure needs something in the American League.
I mean, we got to grow the. Hey, well, Taylor Sander, I don't know if you saw. I saw the AVB Instagram post, and he commented like, "Need a men's league in America too." Like you know, that's a big name. Who's out of the men's indoor game now? Who's talking about it? I mean,
sure.
Casey Patterson also chimed in. I'm sure he was joking, but he said all set. Hey. All right, that'll do it for Shano News this week. Apologies. Welcome to the shit show, boys. When we have adversity, we fight through it. I can't really talk right now, so I'm trying my best. But thanks,
Stay
everyone.
alive, Shano. Stay alive. Hey, thank you, brother. As always,
Of course.
Shano News.
Cheers.
And welcome back to If You Can't Handle the Heat, presented by Dr. Price Electrolytes.
Dr. P's Ease.
Shout out to Shano News for bringing us the latest and greatest in the volleyball world. Let's get into it here. I just want to first thank Dr. Price's Electrolytes. Guess what, Joe? Guess what starts this season? Guess what starts this Friday?
A season.
Season starts, baby. And I'm fired up. Nothing gets me more fired up than getting fired up about Dr. Price Electrolytes. And guess what we're going to be taking? All these boxes. We got 4 or 5 boxes behind us of the Dr. Price Electrolyte. We got lemon lime. We got tropical. We got berry. What else we got? Raspberry.
A little raspberry lemon lime combo.
Ooh, a little combo.
A little combo with a little ice.
Loving that.
Hard to find in Europe, but
We'll be
we make it happen.
We got 3 matches in a row. We're gonna be destroying these things.
Destroying.
And so is the team. Guess
Gone.
what? We all love them. They were like, Gage, Joe, are these things really that good? I'm like, here, take one. I give them one little packet. They go crazy. Now they're crack addicts for this Dr. Price Electrolytes. Shout out to Dr. Price Electrolytes. Addison for 20% off. Link in the bio. I'm so used. This different setup's throwing me off. I'm used to pointing at the camera. I'm used to pointing at the camera right above the Mac, but now I'm supposed to be pointing at that camera. I'll get used to it. All right, my favorite segment, again, Overseas Shiza, brought to you by Dr. Price Electrolytes. Hit us off, Joey.
Well, this week, you know, Gage always kind of instructs us which weeks we're going. So this week I had to go with an old coach that I've worked with, and I'm not gonna be dropping any names here because I don't want to be getting anybody in trouble.
Smart man.
But in Europe in these days, you have to get a little creative with punishments and how you do punishments, because you see a lot of people getting in trouble with how they handle that type of stuff, especially coaches, like old school coaches, and how they address players, how they, deal with disciplinary action. So one of the best punishments, there's two of the top punishments I've seen. The most creative punishments have come from the same individual, and if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know who this is. But anybody who knows who this is,
I actually don't know. I'm not sure.
But he was working with his youth national team years ago, and was with some of the top players in the world at this point. Like if you look at the top 20 players in the world, like a lot of them were on that team. And so he was at a training camp near a lake. He was the head coach of this team. And it was one night. So all the team, the men, so they're boys at this point. They're boys and the girls all stay in the same sort of dormitory, like apartment building. And so they're all trained at the same time. And he hears ruckus coming from some floors up. And it's obviously his boys because there's nobody else in the building. And he walks down into the dorm. And his entire team is in one room. And it's like 16 guys. It's their training group. So it's 16 boys. He walks in. They're drinking some beers. They're young kids, but it's in Europe here. Obviously, it's a little more accepted. They're drinking beers. They're hanging out. And he got really pissed off. And nobody, they just thought it's because they were drinking and they were supposed to be going to bed and everything. And they didn't realize what. And he tells them all, take your shirts off. Only your shorts. Meet me outside in front of the apartment building in 5 minutes. So they'll all go run down.
What a start.
Yeah, exactly. In this way. In Europe, that's the other thing about Europe. Everything is so much widely accepted. And they're way more open to this stuff. Like there's some stuff that if you're told in the US just wouldn't fly. But in Europe, it's just like people don't even think twice about it. So anyways, all 16 boys meet out front. The coach goes to him. He's like, okay, see that light pole over there? And again, they're near a lake, which means a lot of bugs, mosquitoes, like big mosquitoes, I was told. Like that big. That's the size that big. But he tells them all, see that light pole over there? It's about 200 yards. The punishment is they have to walk there and back 5 times out in the middle of the night by this lake. And when you think about it at first, you don't realize exactly like how.
But
they got absolutely eaten alive by the mosquitoes. And they came back, and the next morning they wake up with all these huge red bumps and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if that would fly in the U.S., like getting away with that, but it was one of the most creative punishments. Like, you had to like think about that thing.
Yeah, how do you come up with that?
Like on the spot, boom. And so this coach here that we worked with, and then when I was working with him, we had an issue on the team where we had 2 guys arguing and like screaming at each other at one practice, and he was just having enough of it. So the punishment he came up with is he made them both lock arms, and they had to run sprints together after they'd been like almost like getting into a shoving match with each other. And it was one of the funniest punishments I'd ever seen. These guys were and they were shoving each other the whole way and like wrestling on the ground when they're trying to finish these sprints. And it was the greatest one of the greatest punishments I'd ever seen. That's like within the lines and everything. And so that's one thing over here. You have things. A lot of people ask us, you get fined for certain things. Like certain teams have certain fines on punishments, and usually that goes towards like a party at the end of the year. It's kind of typically teams that I've been a part of with that sort of system. And so for me, I always hear about different stuff, especially from the Eastern European countries. You hear like Russian coaches, and the Yugoslavian, all those ex-Yugoslavian countries, those types of coaches who come from those very traditional type of. For me that was something that popped out, and I realized it was very creative, and you have to be creative nowadays as a coach in terms of disciplinary actions because there's a lot of stuff that you just don't get by with. I feel like, or can get by with. You have to be a lot more.
So why did he get mad at him?
I didn't even say why they found out afterwards. This is the best part. He didn't get mad at him because they were drinking and they were up late. He got mad at him because there was no females in the room. I forgot about this part.
Hell yeah, brother, teach him young.
And so he got mad. He's like, next time I come down here and it's only boys here, we're gonna be doing that double. He's like, the women's team better be in here next time. That's what he told him.
We're savages. I love
The
that.
savage.
I love it. Eastern Europeans, man, they're savages. Remember last year? I guess this counts as overseas shots, but we're on the same topic. Remember last year we would I had a friend, Faye from Ad System. She's our social media girl for those who don't know. She comes to visit me just for fun, and they're like, "Do you sleep with her?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "No, she's just my friend." She's like, and they couldn't comprehend in Eastern Europe. They can't comprehend that this person is just a friend. Like they're just like, she's like, and they were getting like visibly angry. Like what do you mean? Like what is she? Like they keep asking like, we're sleeping together. I'm like, no, she's just a friend. Like we're not doing that. It's like, so why is she here? They're like, in Bulgaria, we cannot have this. We cannot have. They like. There's no friendship between. I'm like,
That
primitive,
is,
man.
Yeah. No,
Primitive.
that's huge. In Europe, it's if you're with a female, like together with them in public, it's pretty much assumed. A lot of players that I play with, it's pretty much assumed that you guys are like together in a romantic way,
Or
which is
hooking up.
interesting. It's very like. It's just their culture, especially like Gage said, Eastern Europe. Like they just assume like, oh, she's hanging with you, then you guys are
Smeske hoče.
smeshka sahoche. Yeah.
Smeske se hoče. For those that are Eastern European or foreign or Eastern European foreign speakers, it's all the same damn language. There's a little gift for you if you understand it.
Smeshka sahoche.
Well, thank you for the overseas shots, Joe. Thank you very much. Really good job.
Of
Hey,
course.
and let me
I was
tell
trying
you,
to think of something
Thanks, Joe.
newer.
that's
something
good.
newer.
That's newer, and it got us energized. You know why? Because he took his doctor place electrolytes. Added some.
I did.
Added some for 20% off. Link in the bio. Let's get into our top 3. So last week we did a top 3 list of our favorite volleyball shoes in our honorable mention, and people really enjoyed that. I think people really enjoyed that for sure. So we're gonna continue with that. We're like, okay, let's make it unique. Obviously, we could do not top 10 shoes. We can wait to do that next week or the week after. You know, we don't want to be repetitive, but a little fresh, but still in the volleyball scene. So I decided to go. We played. What I first thought, I was like, all right, let's do our top 3 volleyballs. Top 3 and not top 3 volleyballs. All right, good. I'm like, all right, that's too broad. Like, how do you compare beach volleyball, indoor ball? You can, but at the same time, I feel it's too broad. And there's enough balls out there where you can get specific here. So, with that being said, we decided to do our top 3 and not top 3 indoor balls. I will go first. I'll go 3-1 here. 3-1.
Like, Gage always, and I will go first.
Because I'll be
It's
honest,
always
did you guys actually look up the actual like names?
No,
of these
no.
things?
In the shoes, he made me go first. So
100%. Thank you very much. Thank you, Micah. Thank
I
you,
got
man.
you, bro.
Get my back, man. Get my
I
back.
got you.
All right. With that being said, let's go with the top 3, 3-1 here. Number 3 is a tie actually, so I guess 3 or 4. Sue me. The classic Molten Pro Touch and the Tachikara Volley Light. Both not because how they feel, but for sentimental value. The number one thing with the original Pro Touch, I'm talking about the leather, baby. I'm talking about the leather, the ones that peel, the ones you hang around like this when they get really, really old, and the ones that sting your skin at 7:30 in the morning. When we were a club team, we would always use the Molten Pro Touch because no one had them, even when they were far outdated. We still had a bunch from the old days. And we'd use those and we'd get 6. Every team would get 6. Because 1, no one's going to steal those bad boys. No one wants those. 2, they stick out. And 3, there's nothing that wakes you up at 7 in the morning than a nice stinging leather ball that has no recoil off your arms. It just, oh my God, it stings. I still remember how it feels when I was young. It was a young lad still learning to pass the ball. So 1, that's number 3. Tie with the Volley Light because that is sentimental value. That's the volleyball that 12 and unders
The
use.
volley light.
Also, when I was older, when I was a camp counselor, I played dodgeball against the younger kids, and I used a Volley Light, and I just had them against the wall, screaming for their lives that I was bombing these Volley Lights at them. Sentimental value. Number 2, if you would ask me this question 2 years ago, it would be number 1. That's the Molten 5000. I think it's the VM5M5000, but the Molten 5000, and that is the college NCAA volleyball, the one that's like the octagons around like the webbing and stuff like that. The red, white, and blue one. When you play the Pan Am or international games, when they play with that, it's green, red, and white, and that one is so good. Really good recoil for hitters. You can bounce the hitting lines, look super sick. I know a lot of you like that. Doesn't float as much, carries a lot more. It pops off your arms really, really well. Now, number 1. is the Mikasa V2000W or 200W.
200, yeah.
Thank you, Joe. And that is the new yellow and blue international ball. I like that. I used to hate that ball because I used to practice the molten one, and then I'd have to go play with that one, and it was ass. And I was like, this is so bad. And I just remember, but now, and I remember it flowed too much, I couldn't have control. But now it hits my platform better. With the molten ball, it can kind of be a little lopsided. It can hit your one arm and go the other side. Mikasa, a little more,
I don't think
a little
it's supposed to be
softer.
lopsided.
Yeah, it moves
I have a
little
question.
more.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you mean the new one or
Yeah.
The
new
W
one.
is the new one.
The new
that's the V300W?
Ooh, no.
I think it's the V2.
It's the V200, bro.
I had it down as the V200 too. I don't know. We have to research that. Maybe
There's
there's,
a
a new
39
version.
Dude, there's a V200W. Then there's a V390W, but that's just a knockoff version of it.
It's a knockoff version.
Yeah, like a wall. Well, I'll get to that in a second. I'm serious. I'm 100 serious. I never joke.
No. Okay. I believe you.
I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. I've been wrong. So
No,
many
you're
times
good.
this
You're
show
right.
to
You're
count.
right. V200W. You're right.
And now when I can it feels better on my platform. I can manipulate more, and now I love it. I used to hate it. Now I love it. Now it's number one. Joe, you go.
Well, I'm gonna do top 3 and then my least favorite too. 'cause
Well,
I
we're
just
gonna
have one
least favorite at the end. I'll go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it after
start.
my top 3.
Okay, solid. Good job. I like where mine's at.
No, I'm kidding. So I think it's really, I think we're all gonna have the same balls. It's just gonna be
Yeah.
the order that might change around because there's no other balls that really can compete with any of those on the indoor game. Mine starts off with I'll start from top to bottom. So number 1, 100% is the Molten V5 M5000.
Question.
Wow, the molten.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you guys know they're
Answer.
making a new one of those for the college volleyball, and they're making the prototypes right now? Sorry, continue, Joe.
Oh,
And
I
I think
didn't know that.
I just learned that from the college guys. Anyway, continue, Joe.
Right on. I did not know that. That's good information. But yeah, the molten ball. It's just, it's so easy to control, and it just pops off your hand. To serve and everything, you could crush that thing, and it just drops in. It's so heavy and it drops in. I don't know. I think
Dude, it carries more.
it's still.
If you had more,
No,
dude, it
I don't
carries
think so.
more.
I think the other ball carries more.
Do you think if you get more spin on it, the molten or Mikasa ball?
The
is
Mikasa
better
balls
for dropping?
fly. I think.
Yeah, you can get more spin on a Mikasa ball, but he's right that the molten, like, it's so heavy, it's gonna help drop into the court if you crank it.
Guys, I was
The
a
other
serving
ones can
sub.
they can float.
Yeah,
They can take
I
off
like the
on
molten ball, and just, like it's just easier to control. I feel like
Setting wise or
definitely-
everything wise?
everything.
Okay.
Everything. It's easier to control. I think. I don't know what it is about. It just like has good grip. I think maybe it's those panels, just grippier.
Panels.
Hashtag shout out solar panels.
Hey.
Number 2, for sure is the Mikasa V200W, the new Mikasa ball that we're using internationally. Like Gage said, I think they fixed sort of what a lot of people complained about with the other ball, with the old ball.
What was that?
Do you want me to get into it?
Yeah, what they complain about?
In terms of just like the unable to predict and like the
Oh,
float
did it move a
serving
lot
and
more?
jumping around. Yeah, it's hard to control. Sometimes you hit it and it just comes off your hand weird. I don't know. It's just harder to control. I always felt like, and it
Fair
does funky things. And so you always got a lot of complaints from there. It was really hard to receive float serves with that ball. And so it took away a lot of that issue. And then number 3, for different reasons from Gage, I think clearly the Molten Pro Touch is the third ball because I just love the feeling of it. I love the pop off the hand setting. I love the Molten Pro Touch. And contrary to what Gage says, I think Gage says it has no recoil. I think when you meant is just like that pop.
Yeah.
It has a lot of pop
Nah,
off your
dude.
hand.
Trust me, when you pass a free ball like that, dude, I'm telling you right now, I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. That
I
thing
remember it
dies
too.
on your hand.
It makes a popping sound. It's like one of the only balls that does
Dude,
that.
I'm talking about digging. You're talking about hitting.
Yeah,
when
it
I'm
makes a
recoil.
popping
I'm
sound.
talking about platform recoil.
Platform recoil. What are you talking about?
Like not recoil, but
For,
you know
what
what
do
I'm
you
talking.
mean?
Like
It
bounce.
like you feel a pop off like your.
It doesn't go as high. Trust me. Trust me. The Molten
It makes a
5000.
popping noise.
The
It
Molten
hits.
5000 goes way higher. Trust me. It dies. It dies.
All right.
It's a leatherhead out
Agree to
there.
disagree.
Joe, you're an old head. I
An
agree
old
that
head?
You're an old head. The pro.
What makes
Because
you a new head?
I'm younger than you.
All right.
I'm
fair
better.
enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
better. Sorry.
Okay. Is it my
All
turn?
right, Micah, top three here.
All right. Yeah, we all have the same three. For me, it's definitely the Mikasa, the newest Mikasa. V200 we agreed on, I think. Yeah.
200W.
V200W.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because it's a perfect blend of, like I always explain, it's like a perfect blend between the Molten and the old Mikasa. Like it has a little bit more weight. It has a little bit more touch to it, but it's not as forgiving still as a Molten is. So it still requires you to have a little bit more control and like touch on the ball that I appreciate, because I think it helps. I feel like you guys would appreciate it too normally, because I feel like it helps you like be like, okay, if this guy doesn't have like actually legitimate ball control, like I can beat him.
Right.
Whereas
That's
the
fair.
Molten, it turns into just a big boy, like bomb
love
the
that.
serve, just like you get away with some passing, put it up and bomb, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's a little bit less finesse. You see a little bit less shots, like even on the international level, you're seeing a lot of like tips, roll shots, cuts, like down the line, all that kind of stuff that you're able to kind of manipulate the Mikasa with, that you just don't get as cleanly with the Molten.
Mm-hmm.
So then that puts the Molten at 2 for me. And then at 3, it's the Pro Touch for sure. I don't know a lot of other volleyballs that I've gotten the chance to play with indoor that like I've played officially with. Besides, there was an all white leather ball that I was like raised with my dad when my dad was
Right.
coaching.
Tachikara?
And that was
Oh, we're
I
getting
think
into
Tachikara
Tachikara.
as well.
We're getting into that. So
I don't know the exact name of that. I do have 2 honorable mentions for best non-indoor balls.
we got to save that, Micah. We got to save that.
That's going to be a different segment.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, bro.
Of course, bro.
All
the
right, we'll
brand,
stay tuned
bro.
and come back, I guess, because I definitely feel strongly about 2 balls that I think are really, really. I like them a lot. They're pretty legit.
I love it. I love the cliffhanger getting the people on. Fires me
Yeah.
up.
I did that on
Love that.
purpose.
Come back for our best cement volleyball. Which is gonna be the most random
Best
stuff.
9-man volleyball.
Well, we can also do like stuff we've used as a volleyball that aren't a volleyball. We could do outdoor balls. There's a lot of options here.
Well, the least
lot of
favorite,
balls to go around.
You said a least favorite, Joe? Did you say your least favorite?
Now we're gonna go least favorite. We're all gonna go around, so we're gonna do least favorite now.
All right.
Gauges. Here are my top 3 worst volleyballs. Number 1, besides the Tachikara Volley Light, any other Tachikara volleyball, they have. All right, sometimes it's nice for the younger kids to have like a soft outside.
The volley light sucks too.
Hey, it has.
No, the volley light. No, the volley light for like when you're 10 is legit
For
bro.
kids,
So
but it's a
nice.
sucky ball.
Dude, right here, man. Right here. This is where.
Yeah, but it's pretty.
It doesn't make it a-
no. It makes it a good ball because it's at least specified for kids, because it's not like heavy. It's easy to like get over the net, and it has a lot of padding, and it's really light, so it's like doesn't hurt your forearms.
Bingo.
So at least it's well designed and has some thought process behind it.
Yes.
It's not a great ball for if you wanted to play right now.
Thank you.
But I feel like
Thank
it
you.
does
This
it does a
all-time
decent
list.
job of like an 8-year-old volleyball. I wouldn't want to give the 8-year-olds a Molten.
Micah.
I'd rather give them a volley light.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you very much.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying, still with it's still like the ball is. You hit it sometimes, it just like takes off in place.
Joe, it's
so
a volley light. What do you expect?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like a
light,
hard balloon.
Joe. What do you want?
Jake,
to
where's
make
your
it
ball?
super light
Well,
and somehow
you know,
super
same
predictable?
pages.
If you're sitting here talking about like a football and you're talking about one of those ones with a little tail at the end, like that's the same thing for a little kid.
Yeah, exactly. When you're a little kid.
Yeah,
it
you
might
don't
be on
give
the
a
top 3
little kid a
football list.
NFL regulation football.
No, you give them the same type of material. You don't give them like a padded.
Joe,
No, but if you were to give them the same type of material as a Molten, it's going to be heavier and play more like a Molten.
it's better for kids' development and confidence, because a lot of these kids can't even serve the net. You really want your youth.
Yeah,
under
they
12
got to
and
be able to
under
get it from the end line over the net.
We had special balls at our club for those.
What are you talking about?
Squishy balls.
No, dude, we're not getting that. We're not getting that. We can make this another list. All right, let me finish. Here's my problem with the Tachikara. And shoot the touch car volleyballs. With the lighter outside, that thing's ass. It's all right. That one's okay. You use it. I used it in middle school, remember? And I was like, this thing sucks. It doesn't even float. You can't get on top of it. No spin. And then the lopsided high school volleyball that they give us is always tachikara. It's always lopsided. It's always the weirdest thing. It's kind of made from like the leathery material as well. And I'm telling you, it's always like I hold it in my hand, I bounce it, and it's like straight down. Like I just let it go and starts bouncing sideways. Horrible volleyballs. Tachikara has it. What is it? We bring the ball, you bring the game. No, you need to go back and start remaking that ball because that thing is ass. Number 2, the super touch. It's
Don't
the
bring
women's
the ball.
Huh?
We bring the ball. You bring the game.
Yeah.
Don't bring the ball. Don't.
Please don't. Please don't.
Please
I'd
don't
rather
bring the
both
ball.
air out here. 2, the super touch. The super touch, it's a women's ball. It floats a lot. It's slippery as well. Not a fan of it. You can pass a little better. It's a little soft. It's just really slippery. Peels as well. It just doesn't have a sentimental value. Same thing as pro touch. It's not
Because he hates
sentimental.
passing float serves.
All right. I can find my hands. 3, the worst ones. The Walmart replica balls. There's nothing worse than when you go to Target, Walmart, any of these stores, you're like, oh, you get a ball for my cousin or something. And it's just a 1999 version of the Mikasa. It's like the worst material ever. It's terrible ball. Like, I remember when Max Bentley brought a replica that looked exactly like an AVP ball, ended up being a pool ball. Those are the worst balls. Joe, not top 3.
No, I just have one. I just have the worst ball is the old Mikasa ball, the MV, whatever that is. That's the worst ball. I just think it like, I don't know. I hated playing with that ball.
Pro
Did a
type.
lot of things. It was weird. It's funky to set, funky
Beta.
to hit, funky to serve, everything. I don't know. I just didn't like it. So I just had one. It's my not favorite.
I came in on the same page as Joe. Also, the replica balls, I get it because there's a purpose for it in the sense where these balls get so expensive.
Fair point.
Like, how in the world is a ball that expensive? So if you can't afford it and you're going to the beach with some friends, it makes a lot of sense, and so it has a purpose. Like, but I guess in the terms that we're speaking of, if you're trying to play like a really, really high level quality game, yeah, it's probably not the best bet. But mine is the same. Mine is the old Mikasa ball. A lot of like when I came overseas, a lot of the other guys like that grew up playing with it loved it, which makes sense because it's the same reason why we love the Pro Touch or whatever. And they've just like learned how to play with it. But that thing was like a balloon. You couldn't like, if you set like, and you had like one hand go a little bit more open than the other, it's like, it goes straight and then just tail off. And you're like, what the heck? Like, this is ridiculous. So, yeah, I didn't like that one as well. Another one that you had mentioned, though, that I'm like, oh, you're right, is those super touches are slippery.
Mm-hmm.
They
You
are
just gotta
slippery.
break them in. When they're broken
Yeah.
in, they're not bad.
Yeah, that's true. But when you first touch a super touch, those things,
Scratch 'em,
with the cursive super touch, you know what I'm talking about?
though. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Molten.
Those things are, those things are slippery when you first
Slippery.
get them. So
Got to that DM me. Hey guys, with that being said, thanks. It's always a pleasure hopping on with you guys. Hey, look at this new setup. Add them to the freaking moon, baby. Add them to the top. I love this. We're improving. Our gadgets and technology.
If you guys want to
is
send us some
improving.
stuff to put up on
Yeah.
our wall, we're
As
talking
you can
about
see,
what to get.
If
If
you
you
want
guys
to
have
send us
anything funny,
you can put anything up, anything you want here, for the most part. Same with Micah. Micah, look at Micah's background. He has nothing up there too.
there's no buildos.
If you want to put something up in our background, let us know. We'll give you our address, send it. Bam, you're going to see it right here. I promise you that. I promise you that. With that being said, if you can't handle the heat, goddamn kitchen. This has been another episode presented by Dr. Price's Electrolytes.